Tanya Kriplani of The Unknown Planet. And a reason why we started The Unknown Planet, it was my third startup. And the reason I gave up my career to start this was because I realized that the medium and small entrepreneurs needed technology, traction, and training to go to the market and become globally competitive. And there began our search for people who were doing organic, sustainable things, who were actually being the best ambassadors for Asia that there was. So one of the entrepreneurs that we came across who was doing some amazing work and with amazing success, who was making baby steps, and has yet made such a large impact, was Pavail Gill, and before him, his father Sukhchand Gill, who is not with us today, but he is a very vital part of Hansali Organic Farmstay and Hansali Organics. So, introducing the team behind Hansali Organic and Hansali Organic Farmstay, Mr. Pavail Gill, we will start with a small presentation to kind of show you what a beauty, what a wonderful thing that this family has created in Punjab, very close to Chandigarh. The rest of the details I will let Mr. Gill give you. So let's start with a visual trip to the Hansali Organic Farm Stay. let the founder of the farm and the Farmstay talk about this further. Welcoming Pavail G. Mr. Gill, can you tell us where did this concept come from and how far did
Thank
it come?
you for your very kind introduction. And we started about 16 years ago. This end January, it's going to be 16 years since we started this venture. And it started with a very simple thought of trying to grow some. We bought a piece of land, and it started with the idea of having a small kitchen garden for our own family. And then we were encouraged by a lot of our friends and people we knew to start growing more. And therefore, we started with 1 acre. And each year we would add another acre in the ambit of our organic efforts. And after a few years, when we felt we are confident enough and we can sell our produce and we can reach customers, then we took the big step of becoming 100% organic. Now it's been more than 10 years that we are completely organic. And each year, in addition to adding an acre of land in the ambit of organic, we would also add a feature, as in 1 year we would add an orchard, and the next year maybe free range poultry, and the year after that maybe cows, and then a goat farm. Since we practice integrated organic farming, we try to practice more streams of agriculture, as many as we can together. So tourism was obviously one of the activities in the line of the activities we would add on every year. And it was again, tourism was started, ecotourism was started with the idea of trying to give an insight to our guests on life at a working farm, where people can come and stay and experience natural farming, experience the meals made from the natural farming, enjoy the pesticide free food and fresh air, and enjoy that life. And obviously, as each stream is linked to the other, so tourism is also very intricately connected to farming, wherein it provides us an opportunity to find more customers for our produce, because you see, seeing is believing. So if we have guests visiting us and seeing the kind of life that is there at the farm, seeing the pure food, so we can also try and convert them into our customers. So all of these activities are definitely connected with each other. And post-COVID particularly, we've had a very, very good response in ecotourism. And this is one of our busy seasons going on at the moment. So we grow pure food, we host guests who experience pure food. So yeah, it's a good life.
Really beautiful life. But can you explain what integrated farming is all about and what are the benefits of integrated farming and organic farming versus the norm?
Yeah. So integrated farming, like I had explained, is basically trying to practice as many streams of agriculture together as possible. And they are linked with each other in some way or the other. I'll give you an example. For instance, when we have cows for organic milk. So the cow dairy provides us with the manure for the fields. And in the same fields, we grow organic fodder for the cows. So each activity is in one way or the other linked to the other activities. So if you practice more streams together, then the same manure we use for the vegetables too, and so on. So they're all interlinked with each other. And I would like to add that in fact even tourism is linked to the farming, because then you are able to provide an experience to your guests which normal hotel cannot.
True.
Ecotourism, every tourism place has its own story and its own pitch. So agritourism is picking up in a big way. People are not very keen on going to box built hotels. They're looking at experiences, fresh air, maybe taking off for morning walks. They want to see where their food comes from. The children want to collect the eggs in the morning, maybe pluck some vegetables. So, and people are willing to pay for these experiences.
True.
So they're all of these activities are definitely interlinked in one way or the other, and they help us, through the connection.
So what I'm hearing is that you've built a circular economy of your own in a circular way by
Mm-hmm.
practicing integrated farming, which
Mm-hmm.
is also lending itself to sustainable tourism. So this
Yes.
not only does gives you a regular sustainable income, but it
Mm-hmm.
also creates an environmental of sustainability, awareness, and an
Mm-hmm.
environmentally a pro-environment behavior from, because when people come to your farm and they experience maybe collecting eggs from a chicken, or they are playing with the dogs or the farm animals, there is
Yeah.
a certain empathy. You seem to be bridging a certain emotional and mental connection between nature and your guests. Can you tell us about this?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, to quote one of the guests who was staying with us recently, they were surprised that their children didn't touch the telephone for so many hours. Though we have televisions in our rooms, but our guests rarely use the television because their entertainment is the nature outside. The kids, like you rightly said, can experience things like connecting the how an egg is laid to the actual egg, that they have, or maybe the milk in their glass to how it comes from a cow. And these are experiences that typical urban folk are not used to, and they find great pleasure in connecting nature to the food on their plate. So again, like I said, that there was a consciousness earlier, but post COVID, definitely people want to experience nature. They want to live in nature. Pure food is gaining more, importance in everyone's lives. So yeah, it has a good potential.
Also, I've noticed that you're very, very supportive of your environment. So when I'm saying environment, I just don't mean nature and environment. I also see that you do village walks. You take people to see the experience, the, like I remember my team went to see the embroiderers, the last Fulkari embroiderers. So
Hmm.
you're in a way an ambassador for Punjabi culture. Can you tell us how
Yes.
this part of it was built up?
Absolutely. You see, every business establishment does its bit for the environment that it is in. So, as we are located in Punjab in a certain village, and we practice, agriculture, which is in line with nature. So, definitely, we try to do our bit for society. When we are doing tourism, when we are hosting guests, we also try and give an opportunity to local artisans. Like you rightly mentioned, people doing traditional Punjabi handicrafts like fulkaris, or maybe other handicrafts. So we have a small souvenir counter where we host, where we keep such things for our guests to carry with them as memorabilia. And certainly, we do also organize experiences for guests from outside, so that they can come and experience the handicrafts and the culture
I
of Punjab. So yes, it does benefit.
Okay, that's true. That does. Um, we see very different sides of Punjab today, where what once was the wheat and the food grassland of India. Today
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing, when I have traveled through Punjab, I have seen truckloads of oranges
Mm-hmm.
completely stuck and thrown on the ground, skinos as you call it in kino season, just
Yeah.
rotting away on the floor. I have
Mm-hmm.
seen the wheat farmers having to burn their produce and create all this
Mm-hmm.
smoke because there's no capacity, or they're not able to move it logistically. Now,
Mm-hmm.
as a farmer or someone who's been 16 years, who's put his sweat and blood in agri-farmer, of in agriculture also. What could those people do to power their lives like you have? What can a wheat
See,
farmer with
yeah.
acres of farm or a quinoa farmer with orange farms do to
Mhm.
in line with what you're doing to actually be able to grow a sustainable way?
See, the experiences that you have just narrated are the mismatch between production and
True.
consumption. And so when you are dealing with perishables, then it's very soon that a farmer gets into a panic mode if he can't sell his produce right away. Now, the basic issue here is that the farmer doesn't have an access to a market, so he is hugely or entirely dependent on another link in the chain, which is the middleman. So he unloads his produce to a third party, and then the third party has a connect with the customer. So if the farmer himself has the connect with the end customer, so A, he gets better remuneration for his product, and B, he can plan his produce in such a way wherein he knows that there is a demand for X, so I must produce X and connect the. So to my mind, social media is playing a huge role in bridging this gap for many farmers, such as myself. For instance, like I mentioned, that we have a straight farm to fork kind of a small model here in Chandigarh. We don't really, we never give our produce to any middleman. We shake the hand with the end customer, and we touch about 150 homes every single day. So, and it's growing. And of course, the growth is organic, well, one after the other. But this is the best experience that I can share. That if the farmer can develop a direct connection with the customer, so he can plan his produce in such a way and get a better remuneration also. Like I mentioned, we are doing integrated farming, so we have many products that we have on
Awesome.
offer to our customer, and it also gives us an insight on if out of, let's say, 10 activities that I'm doing at my farm, it's bound to happen that out of the 10, maybe 4 or 5 will show better potential than the others. So where we feel that we get a better response, we increase that particular activity, and where we feel we have a reasonable response, we limit that activity to that particular level. So these kind of adjustments we can do at our own farm level if we are connected to the end customer. If we don't know the end customer at all and we are dependent on a middleman, then there may be times where we'll get a decent value for our product, but there are bound to be times where I have a perishable product and I don't know what to do with it, and the middleman won't take it.
True.
So,
And you did one more thing I noticed in the cycle, and if you're okay with it, I'll play the video. It is
mhm.
about creating value addition at the
Oh
source.
yes,
You
hugely,
created a massive value addition. So you would take
yes,
your cow's milk and you would make ghee and paneer and yogurt. And then
yes,
now I believe Mrs. Gill is making the cakes also
yeah,
because they look so luscious. I wish you all would deliver to Dubai. But honestly,
sure,
so that whole value addition, which is really
yes.
critical, and
The
not
other
just
day,
value addition,
yeah,
relevant value addition. You knew your
absolutely,
customers, so you were able to produce the kind of quality that your customers wanted. Would you be
yes,
okay with us playing a video of the ghee you make
oh
at
sure, please, by
so
all
for
means.
anybody who really wants to know how to produce ghee or where your good ghee comes from, here is a video for you. Yes, can we play
Absolutely.
the video for the Hansali ghee long? I think it is also the value addition that you're doing and the homes that you're touching. But coming back to something that I know you're doing, and subconsciously you've been doing that, I know in North India you'll have made a society of homestays, farm stays, tourism, and you'll create a knowledge exchange. Can you tell me about that little group of yours and how you'll have been supporting each other, sending tourists to each other, sharing knowledge, sharing resources?
Yeah,
In a way,
this
you've been
was
mentoring people.
this was actually started by the government of Punjab, since they have a couple of farm stay owners impaneled with them. So they decided to bring all of them together on a platform so that they could share information, experiences, because we are typically not people from a hardcore hospitality background, and we have to go through our motions. So we have a group of a good, I think 25, 30 odd farm stay owners in Punjab who are on at level with approved by the Punjab government. And we do meet every once in a while, and we share our experiences and how to go forward. And in fact, for instance, we do share information on the farms also. For instance, I have group of tourists who are staying with me, and they will stay with me for a few days, and then they look for references on where to move forward throughout Punjab. So then they visit our property, and then they visit somebody next down the line, and so on. In Punjab, we also have something which is called a Sikh Trail, religious tourism, wherein the end of December is a unique time where our area where we are located gets a lot of Sikh pilgrims who come for obeisance at a gurdwara, which is in our neighborhood. And then towards March, they have Hola Mohalla near Anandpur Sahib. So that's where, in that particular time of the year, and the farm stays located in that area get more guests than they would do than what they usually do. Of course, around Amritsar, it's throughout the year. You get devotees visiting the Golden Temple throughout the year. So speaking of, from a religious angle, also we have certain trails and certain time of the year when one location gets more guests than the other, and so on. And then speaking of experiences, for instance, we have organic farming. Somebody else may have horses. Somebody may have an orchard. So all of these farm stay owners amongst themselves also provide a varied experience to their guests. And many guests, particularly who are foreign nationals, inbound guests, obviously would want to experience these different experiences all over Punjab. So if you're connected with each other, you can, share information. You can share your guests. If we were to recommend another farm stay to a guest staying with us and wanting to move on, so even that guest has a sense of trust when when they've stayed with you and they work on your recommendation. So it works well both ways. Yeah.
True. Having said that, there's still so many farms, the farms that I mentioned, like the Orange Trail farms and the wheat farms. How can you all consciously, as a community, as a body, as you yourself, as the Gill family, kind of guide or have been guiding people to come into the agri-tourism revolution or
Oh yes.
evolution?
Oh yes. Oh yes. On different
Especially,
platforms, for instance, the platform that I am with you today, we encourage, we say this very often, that if most farmers in Punjab were to take to tourism, hosting guests at their premises, it would definitely supplement their income, and also they get a chance to build up a market base for their products in the different locations that they are in. We are next to Chandigarh, a town. We are getting guests. We are using farm tourism as an opportunity to build our clientele. And another farm stay could be in a different location, and they can do the same as well. So it not only supplements your income from the tourism angle, but you also gives you an opportunity to market your agriculture products also. And having said that, even speaking of farm stays, You see, properties are available across the entire spectrum of the guests, willing to pay you. So you can
Yes.
have a room starting at say six, seven, 800. And I just heard of a farm stay in Punjab that is looking at 25,000 rupees for a night. So you have the market is very wide, very vast. The
True.
experiences are very vast. The experiences range from normal farming to vegetables to floriculture to livestock to horses. So
Yeah.
there is so much that can be done.
And most people don't know that Punjab has their own marvelous local indigenous breed of horses, which
Oh
are
yes.
quite feisty and wonderful to ride. So, coming back to the one topic that I think everybody wants to hear. So, we've seen pictures of Prince Charles III now, the King Charles
Mhm.
III now. Tell
Mhm.
us about the many guests that have come and their reactions to what they've experienced.
Well, we had the privilege of the visit of Prince Charles in 2010. He was here for the opening of the Commonwealth Games in those days. And we were just taking off in organic farming. Like I said, we are one of the first to take up organic farming in Punjab. And back in 2010, I think it was us and maybe another few more who were doing organic in Punjab. So he happened to be in Punjab, and since he himself is an organic farmer, and he expressed a desire to see and meet a farmer who wants to take the other route than chemical farming, So it was with that idea that he wanted to visit us. It was a visit organized by the government of Punjab, and then we've had the agriculture minister visiting us. We've had chief ministers. So we are very privileged. Uh, uh, we are also now, this morning, we had a discussion. Perhaps the G20 agriculture team would also be visiting us, though it's not for sure, not decided as yet. But we are privileged to have visits. It gives us encouragement.
What next for you? What is the next leap of faith for you? What would be the next things that you would uh, kind of be audacious enough to think? Not simple things, not, okay, I'll have one more plant, one more thing. What is the next leap of faith you want to take as the Hansali Organic Farm Tourism and Hansali Organic, as well as the Gill family, who really, knowing Mr. Sukhchen Gill, are real inspirers, who spark leadership in people? What would be the next step for you?
See, this is a good question. We take this farming as a journey. So we embarked on this journey 16 years ago, and we are still midway. We feel we haven't reached where we should be. We probably will never feel that way. To keep moving is to keep alive. So I can only say for the next thing that is in our mind is to, since we are already growing ingredients, we started with this about a year, 2 years ago. We have wheat, we have rice, we have milk products, we have eggs, we have vegetables. So the next step we feel for us should be processing and selling, because the more you add value to any product, it gives you like organic is one value. Now you process and sell organic is the next step.
So,
So
yes.
we're already making certain products again which are indigenous to our culture, like sarson ka saag, like punjiri desserts, and we hope to do well in that also, and then maybe add some more rooms, provide more experiences to people.
That's interesting. That's definitely an interesting leap of faith. And thank you very much for sharing spaces with us. Is there
Thank you for
something that
having
you
us.
would like to share with the audiences? Is there something? Okay, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Before I wrap up, I would love to know what are the biggest challenges that agritourism in North India face?
See, again, it's for people who don't have a hospitality background. You have a million apprehensions in hosting people at your place. But luckily, we come from a culture which is known for hospitality.
True.
So the first challenge is, opening up your mind on having guests and showing them your culture, your food, your habits, your farm, and then one thing leads to another. And I can only add that it's been 4 years that we have been into ecotourism, and we host guests just the way we would host them at our home. And even from the other end, we've had a tremendous response. Great people. People reciprocate your kindness, in a very generous way. So we've been happy. The challenges could be infrastructure. Creating infrastructure is difficult. Government support is another. But slowly and slowly, we're getting there. Even governments are getting sensitized to farm stays, to homestay tourism. So we're getting there.
Slowly but surely, we'll get there. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Gill. Thank you for sharing your beautiful property with us. Any last words? You're welcome, sir. And thank you once again.
Thank you for having us, Sonia. It was a privilege interacting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you for such wonderful names that I see in the audience and attendees. I can see most of you are social impact entrepreneurs. Thank you very, very much.